can the dead people hear us? The scholars said a few things about this, and they differed in their views. Now, obviously, from a physical point of view, from a realistic point of view, the physical body, once it dies, it cannot hear anything at all. Obviously, you're dead after that time, and all your senses are cut off. So the scholars didn't differ on whether the physical body can hear you, but because we Muslims, we believe in the soul of the body and that it exits the body and stays alive, they're talking about the nature of the soul, whether it can hear us after that person has died. And here is the answer. The Prophet, peace be upon him, was burying a companion, and then he said to his companions, make dua for your brother and ask Allah to make him firm. And then he said, the dead can hear, or he can hear, qar'a ni'alikum, the tapping or the footsteps of your shoes as you walk away. So some of the scholars took this as evidence to say that the dead people therefore can hear us. But actually the majority and the correct view is that, and this is the statement of Ibn Taymiyyah, is that they can hear us temporarily just for that short time, and then it fades away. But what is the nature of this hearing? Bear with me to illustrate to you what the scholars said to us. When you go to sleep, you go into a state of unconsciousness. But have you ever been in a situation where you're kind of in between asleep and almost awake? But from the person who's observing you, they can see that you're completely asleep. However, from your perspective, from where you are, you can also almost make out noises and sounds from the people around you while you're still dreaming. Have you ever been in that situation? And that's when you're just about to wake up, but you're actually asleep. Or sometimes you might be in not much of a deep sleep, and then you might wake up and say, I heard noises, but you don't really remember, and you can't even make out the language or anything like that. In fact, it was just something that passed that is so almost close to unconscious. So the scholars, they told us it's something like that. And you know, in the Quran, sleeping is also referred to as death when the soul exits. And in the hadith of Prophet ﷺ, he also said that the sleeping is minor death. So you can see there is some similarity, and that's the kind of example they gave. So when a person has died, in the first instance they said, we believe as Muslims, and from the authentic hadith of the Prophet, peace be upon him, that two angels come to the person in their grave and they ask him questions. What is your religion? Who is your Lord? And at that instant, another authentic hadith which is inside Muslim, that Allah orders for the soul to return back to its grave. So it's there in a world which we cannot see. In the Quran, there's a world called behind something called barzakh. Barzakh literally means a barrier that separates something from another. And so there's a barrier that separates this world from the world of the souls, the hereafter. We have no connection to it, and they have no connection to us. So they said that it's kind of similar to that, to bring it close to our logical mind, that the soul is somehow close to the body, and therefore noises or sounds can be heard, but it can't make it out, and it's very, very distant. So brothers and sisters, in conclusion, the correct opinion is that first of all, from the logical common sense, that the body itself, once it dies, it cuts off from all senses. We see it in reality, we can experiment it, we practice it, we know it. And we can also compare it to going to sleep. When you're in a coma, or you're under the effect of anesthesia, when you have an operation, for example, at the hospital, or when you go into deep sleep, we definitely do not hear anything around us. And if that's the case while we are still alive, then it's more true that when a person dies, obviously the body feels nothing, hears nothing, sees nothing of this world. It just decomposes and becomes part of the earth. As for the soul, we can say that one of the views is maybe partially they have this slight faraway sense only when they're first buried. So brothers and sisters, some people, they go to the grave and they talk to the dead people and they think that they can hear them. Unfortunately, I wish they did, and I wish that was true. But the more correct view is that the evidences don't support it. So my brothers and sisters, you still are allowed to call to them if you like, but with the intention of saying, let's say if it's part of your healing and part of your grief, and you say, my son or my father or my mother, I loved you so much, because the Prophet ﷺ used to also say that, and some companions used to say that, but not in the sense that you believe that they can do something or they can hear you or respond, in the sense of you expressing your grief. Just a matter of language, it's how we speak, right? Oh Muhammad, you were so beloved to me, but without going too far and wailing and saying things that are forbidden, such as, why did you leave me, why did Allah take you, and all those words should not be said. In fact, we should say, to Allah we all belong, and to Him we shall all return. Make dua for them and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive them. Give charity on their behalf if you can, and whatever they taught you of goodness, practice it and teach others.